The filming of a band's video can cause all kinds of headaches for the band concerned. They've got to decide on a storyline, so it conveys the song pretty well. They've got to decide on a location where to shoot the video as well. Bands often choose silly locations to shoot videos, sort of, for instance, on the roof of a building, in a quarry, in a swimming pool even. Luckily for us, we're going to examine the filming of a video shot in a film studio. The great advantage of filming a video, or as they're now known, a promotional film in a studio, is that you're not sort of open to the elements if you were out on location. I mean, if the wind blew and you're on top of a mountain, well, you'd probably lose half the members of the band as well as your camera crew and what have you. So the studio's clearly the place to be. Also, the other advantage of being in a studio is you can control all things. Sound, not that important on promotional videos, but you can control the lighting with the aid of these things by dragging huge expensive lights around with you. Or in fact, they're usually based at a studio anyway. Now, the song we're going to be looking at, that is going to be filmed a promotional film for, is called In Between Days, and the band are The Cure. Here's Tim Pope in his element, actually directing an actual video. The gentleman holding the guitar is Paul Thompson, guitarist in the latest lineup of The Cure. What's that strapped to the end of his guitar? Well, it's a camera. Confused? Well, just wait and see what they do with it.
That's the only bit we'll rehearse. Okay, alright, here we go then. Track. From the top? Okay, Mark, hit it.
No, the chap in the pink sweater isn't a member of The Cure. It is only a rehearsal, so it doesn't matter who sits at the piano. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on there, so I asked him to explain, well, exactly what was he trying to do in that bit. Tim, what exactly are you trying to do on this bit here?
Oh, blimey, I don't know yet. But well, this bit it's a bit complex. What I'm trying to do is make it look as though, I mean, like basically we couldn't afford a cameraman, right? So like because these geezers are much too expensive, right? So what we've basically done is I'm trying to film it all as though they're sort of filming it all, right? It's actually a lot more complicated to do it. It look very simple.
Is that what you're trying to make it look like? As though the band are playing around?
Well, sort of thing. You won't ever see a camera in the film or anything, but that's like the essential idea. But what I'm also doing, right? I shot a lot of stuff in colour under ultraviolet light this morning.
Yeah.
So I've got this shot that I'm doing with the camera on the front of strapped to their bodies, right, like that, which I've shot in colour and I'm shooting it in black and white. And then I'm going to put the two pictures together like that, and then we're going to do some ultraviolet animation over the top of it. So it's got a few firsts on this
confusing. These all your ideas?
Well, pretty well. I wouldn't call them ideas, more a way of life.
Really?
Yeah.
You live and breathe this sort of stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm there, can't you tell? I'm on the edge.
I mean, you're well involved. I mean, I wouldn't say you're the only person who knows what's going on. I don't think anyone knows exactly what's going on. Is that how you work?
No, I have to be a bit like that, you see. No, I think the basic thing is, right, like I do a lot of dodgy shoots, right, but the thing is, yeah, of course, see, look,
we've got to move, we're in trouble again,
yeah,
all right.
Absolutely. Yeah. But no, the basic thing is, you see, if people think that I'm a nutter when I'm doing a shoot, that means it's a good shoot, you see, and they all think, like, if you look around, have a quick look around, like, have a look there, right? Right, look at them, they all think I'm a complete nutter, so does he. But you know, that's the skill of it, that's why it's going to look good.
Is an outlet?
Yeah. Well, he'll be everywhere. Essentially, this will be his main area, and Simon will be over there. So I thought Paul was there, Simon was there,
Of course, Tim can't do everything on his own, so he has a production manager to help him out, Lisa Bryer.
And then we rang up Grip House, who do all the sort of the gripping around here.
Yeah.
And they've been working all weekend trying to get it done for us.
Just explain gripping for me.
Gripping basically is strapping on the camera to whatever Tim wants it strapped onto. And something like this guitar is very, very difficult.
Look, I can see
there's
a bracket actually being put on the headstock of the guitar there to take it.
And the weight of the guitar is nothing compared to the weight of the camera. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of problems this weekend, getting it to work.
You've actually had quite a short time to get the whole thing together. I mean, to have something made like that. I mean, so I've been working up all night, that sort of thing.
Well, the ideas were got together late Friday night, so we had Saturday and Sunday really to get it together, and a little bit of yesterday.
It's now Tuesday.
It's now Tuesday.
Are you going to do it?
We're going to do it. We're definitely going to do it, and I think it's going to work. I mean, so far so good.
It looks quite exciting.
Yeah, I think it will work. I mean, it's going to take a while, and this one here, the 360 degrees, that's going to be quite a tough one to do, but it will work, and it's going to look fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they both have to go the other side of the table.
Okay, stand by, Mark.
Okay. The cable's pointing. Right, let's get that camera out of the way, please.
Okay.
Can we just...
Alex.
Sorry.
Okay, tell me when you want it.
So that everything works right when you come to actually perform the thing, the idea is to rehearse as many times as possible. And yes, this is another rehearsal. That's Barry Wasserman, the assistant director, assisting in his own inimitable way. See the worried-looking gentleman with the beard in the blue? Well, he's Chris Ashbrook, the director of photography. That's Al McDowell, the art director, looking very arty up against the wall as well. Oh yes, and this is Mark.
That's good. That's fine. Yeah, great. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. That was good. I like that bit. See what I was trying to do? So whack it straight up there. We'll rehearse that bit. I suppose it's quite unique with me because I've never been asked by a record company to make a film. Now, the usual way that you go about this is that a record company, say, goes to 3 people and they say, come up with an idea for the video, and they choose the best one. But what I do, which is what I think is fairly unique, I don't know many people who do this, I tend to work with people time and time again, you see. So, like, I've worked with, like, Paul Weller, the Style Capsule, about 5 or 6 times, Soft Cell like 20 times or something, so I work a lot like that. So in fact it's fairly easy the way I work, because I know a lot of the sort of imagery that people are interested in, those sort of things, we start at a certain level. And what's also great about, because I work with people time and time again, is you can get different flows, different feelings between the videos. You can follow things on, you can come up with an idea, and then, say with The Cure we've done that a lot, we start with an idea and then we restate that idea later on in a later video.
Here's an earlier Cure video, also directed by Tim Pope. See if you can spot any ideas in this which he restates in other Cure videos, which we'll show you later on.
See, I think a lot of videos suffer from the fact that a person like me, a director, comes along and they happen to want to do this day, they happen to want to do something, they happen to want to see boxes or these weird people looking meaningful, right? They want to see stuff like that. Well, so I sort of try to work a bit differently to that. I listen to the because I work with people time and time again, as I say, I know the sort of imagery that they're interested in, so I tend to, I talk work very, very, very closely with people and we develop them together. Okay, stand by,
Mark.
Sort of start here. We can be really clever. I mean, you think if you're sort of no, just filming, you've got to think in terms of cameraman.
Let's have that camera upstairs.
If everything looks a bit complicated and rushed, well, that's not surprising. This particular project only came together a couple of days before they actually went out to shoot it.
Can we straighten that up from down there, alright?
No, we can't. We have to do it up there.
There seems to have been a last minute effort all this, so you got to take, what, 3 or 4 days?
Yeah,
ago?
but I mean, that's the thing I'm sort of used to. I think that's part of the excitement of what I do. It's really interesting because what happens, right, you like get a tape, right, on Friday afternoon I hadn't heard this song and I had no ideas for it at all. And then I sat around with my art designer, McDowell, right, and we sat around for a couple of hours, got a bit arty and all that, so I had a cup of tea. And then we sort of, and then out of this arty smog came these sort of ideas sort of thing. So that's how it sort of
Did you have any
developed.
sort of these ideas at the back of your mind before?
Oh no, never. No, none of these at all. They all came from Friday, which is good. Yeah, but that's the way we work. Sort of. It's good because it's sort of it makes them fresh, I think.
You say you don't want it to look like the standard rock and roll promotional video. Is that what you're trying to get away from? Does that sicken you, the standard pretty girl band playing close up on the riff?
Last year I was doing that sort of thing generally. You know, sort of coming up corridors. That was very much me. I think I really started that style. You know, fast red cars, suspender belts. That was me really. It was all me. But I feel very bad about it now because I've obviously influenced the whole thing. It's really gone downhill, you know. I feel really.
How about input from the band, or the opposite? Did the band come and say to you, "I don't want to see this"?
It's like I see. I've made a lot of films for The Cure, so I know the sort of way they think. Right, this is like my 5th one or something, right? So I sort of tend to know the way people think, right? So I know what sort of things. I know what they are essentially, sort of thing.
You're working with Tim Pope again. Fond of the man.
He's the only one that will have us.
Which may be a good thing, it may be a bad thing. But with The Cure, it's all, I've made a lot of dodgy videos, as I said, but like The Cure ones, some of them have been okay.
We like him. We like what he does. It's always colourful. He's inventive. Most inventive director around at the moment, I think. Has been for a while.
Do you rely on him completely for your ideas, or do you sort of spark the idea yourself?
Well, what usually happens is we go to him with an idea of what we want the video as a whole to look like, the idea that we want to communicate to people watching it, and then he comes back to us a week later with all his ideas.
The thing is, like, I met up with Robert and we both agreed that we didn't want to make like running up the corridors, suspenders, tits, all that stuff, right? We didn't want to do that sort of stuff, so we thought we'd do something a bit wilder, something a bit fresher. So he gave me the basic brief, said he wanted it to look wild and fresh, and that. So I sort of interpreted it from then, so I'm going wild.
You've got wild and fresh in 3 days.
Absolutely, yeah. Dodgy joke. Oh no, not in front of 5 million, it's all out.
Art department.
Do you want to pull this up? I mean, as long as you
Give me a position for the bass drum, all right? Chris, give me a position for the bass drum.
Well, after a few minutes dragging drum kits around the place and repositioning lights and swinging more stuff from the roof and just having a general think and a bit of a wait and trapping members of the band underneath pianos. Ouch, that hurt. Well, it's time for another rehearsal. This time, it's the final rehearsal before they go for a take. It involves all the members of the band. But, having said that, this rehearsal is for only one camera, the one on the end of that guitar. We can guarantee there'll be lots more takes and rehearsals later on. I think this is as good an opportunity as any to introduce you to the stars of this mini-epic, the various members of The Cure. The gentleman wielding that guitar with the camera strapped to the end of it is Paul Thompson. The drummer for the day, well, it's Boris Williams, a new addition to The Cure. The bass player is Simon Gallup. Of course, that's Robert Smith, the main man. The portly gentleman sat behind the keyboards, that's Lowell Tolhurst.
That's fine, we'll go for a take, so let's clear everyone out.
Okay, guys. We're body segment. I can go with that. All right.
Well, I've been chucked down to the studio for a moment. That's not such a problem because just about absolutely everyone has been chucked out, apart from the important people, like the members of the band, the director and the cameraman. The reason why we've all been thrown out is that they're doing the old swinging camera bit. There's cameras flying around all over the place from those wires, so it's a little safer outside. In fact, I'm not too bothered at all because I've actually found a rather good vantage point from here as well. You actually see everything that's going on. Have a look. Now, this is what it looked like from our vantage point, and this is what it looked like with the camera strapped to the end of that guitar. After that first take, everyone deserved a break, so most of us went outside. Robert, however, staggered out. Right, Tim, you got some photos here of the fluorescent stuff you did.
Yeah, that's the fluorescent stuff we did this morning. It's quite wild, isn't it? This is the sort of stuff that's going to be going underneath the black and white bits that you've just seen us shooting.
Yeah, there's Paul underneath all that, isn't there?
That's Paul.
Yeah.
There's Robert, Simon, Boris, and good old Lawrence, otherwise known as the Beast.
The Beast?
Yeah.
Why on earth?
I don't know, you better ask them that.
Oh, I see, right, okay.
That's a question.
I mean, they've done, they've put up with all kinds of things today, haven't they? I mean, their faces painted and the most hideous
That doesn't
stuff.
good, doesn't it? Doesn't good.
Are they good? Are they pretty easy going?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I mean, I've made a lot of film. I mean, in fact, this one's one of... usually I like to put people through a bit of agony, you know. I think people like to see that sort of thing, you know.
You've suffered for your art, now it's their turn.
No, absolutely, yeah.
You've actually been filming with a camera actually strapped to your stomach or something.
Yeah.
Hard work.
Yeah, but I say it'll be worth it. I hope it's worth it. It probably won't. It probably just look normal after all this.
Well, it won't look as though they're suffering actually in the end, but yeah. I mean, I've hung people upside down before and all sorts of things. I'll tell you, the worst thing is when you've got one of those Kirby wires, you know, I'll be swinging the camera because it really does grab you rather badly.
Ooh. See, you're well protected, you got a glove on there.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I was giving it all that, wasn't I? Yeah. So.
Anything dreadful ever to happen to you doing a video?
Well, I've got a black eye from this already, actually. Look,
Really?
if you look there.
Yeah.
Look, if you look there, it started to go black from standing up. When I was doing this ultraviolet bit, I was looking through the camera like that, and it was punching me in the face about every 2 seconds. So that's going to be a nice black eye tomorrow.
Hazardous enterprise.
Pardon?
A hazardous enterprise.
I thought you were talking about Starship Enterprise. Beam me up, Scotty.
To go to places where no other man would dare.
Have you wanted to be a tree for a long time?
Yes.
Always?
Yes. Why not? Why shouldn't I want to be a tree? I think it's a great thing to be.
Looking at my window, what do I see? A world full of people, all looking at me. Most of them ain't got headache, there's no place to be. Few of them are happy, how can you see why? I want to be a tree. Do, 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 do. I want to be a tree. Do, 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 do. From the very beginning of history, man's not seen the wood for the trees. Now they're all busy planning World War III. We are all invited, so can't you see why I want to be a tree?
Less lucrative than your current line of work, I would have thought.
I don't know, I think trees, you can cut yourself down and sell yourself for a lot of money.
Oh, well, there's always that. Seriously, that must have been very uncomfortable to do.
That was actually making that film was the most. I wanted to really expose myself to the thing that was one reason for doing it. There are other reasons, but one of the reasons was to see what it was like to be the other side of the camera. And I believe I make a lot of my people suffer. I believe people who watch videos like to see people suffering, so I always hang people upside down, turn them inside down, make them walk through fire, anything like that, right? Make them, just cover them in water.
it's a bit.
As you can see, I'm doing famously, getting on marvellously with the star of the whole project.
Robert.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I didn't know they wanted him. I hope he doesn't find me.
We're almost ready for you, Robert.
Sorry, I couldn't see it.
Sorry, artist.
No, it's all right. I was just moving this round. When you pan through 30 and then you walk into it. I didn't realise you was up there. That's all right,
Barry, it's a bit unfair trapping you during your tea break. It's the only moment you've stopped all day since I've been here anyway.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Your role in this is to be not the sweet guy, I suppose. You do all the shouting and telling people what to do. You're the assistant director.
Yeah, well, the role of the assistant, according to the book, the role of the assistant director is to facilitate his director. So his director can be working with the artists or the lighting cameraman, and the assistant director gets everything else organized, the shot set up for him, so to speak. That's what it's supposed to be. Mainly what it is I get paid a lot of money to yell at people.
You like that?
Yeah, I was built for the job.
You're the guy with the loudest voice here. You kind of suit the purpose.
Yeah, human megaphone.
Yeah. How are you getting on today? Nice.
Wonderful. It's great. Great shoot. It's working really well. And I mean, you don't have 360-degree shoots. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, usually at least a third of it would be open. So this one's different along those lines. And Tim's always really coming up with crazy shots and things. So it's like, what? What do you need to do?
Does Tim trust you to look after the shot then while he's getting on with it?
Yeah, I mean, he gives me about 30 seconds to set something up, and it works really well, as a matter of fact. It's a lot of fun, and the band's really fun, and the track's really nice, so what could a boy ask for more,
Thanks.
Cheers.
Okay, stand by. Tell me when you're ready, Mark. Quiet on set, please. Okay, and sound.
As you can see, Barry works brilliantly as Tim's voice. Time now for yet another rehearsal. Now, there's a reason why Tim is holding that camera there and why it's suspended on cables. It's not suspended on cables because it's too heavy for Tim to hold. There's a reason. Just watch this. Ah, so that's why. And this is how it looks through the camera. Yeah, the swinging camera is like the big highlight of this video, isn't it? I mean, what sort of problems has that presented?
Stability, really. I mean, the fact that when he throws it away from him, it goes away like a rocket. When it comes back, it sort of charges straight at him. And the temptation is to throw it away from camera, whereas really he should let it go. It'll just drift away and drift back.
How about the focus? The focus on something like that, doesn't it go rapidly out of focus?
Yes, it does. Yeah. So you tend to have to split the focus and hope that the focus holds.
How do you test for that?
You don't. You have to know.
Really?
I mean, you know what your focus is. Yeah. Yeah.
Any other problems with the swinging camera?
No.
Have you ever done anything remotely like that before?
No, I haven't. Not quite like this.
Innovating as we go.
Yeah, really. Yeah, this is quite new. Oh, and I'm sure other cameramen have done something similar, but I haven't. Not quite like this. No.
As you can see, you don't actually need the band for most of the time that you're making something like this, because the actual time the band are involved is relatively short on the whole scale of things. I mean, you've got to spend hours setting up, even brushing the floor, making sure your camera swings, all kinds of things like that. There are those who suggest that you even hardly need a band to make a video.
Yes.
Al, as the art director for this video, I mean, what's involved for you?
Well, in a film like this, it's quite conceptual. It's mostly ideas. We have the mechanics to do, putting up the drapes, colouring all of the ultraviolet. But really, on something like this, I will work on the ideas, on writing the.
You involved with Tim with the ideas from the word go?
I mean, the word go is 2 days ago.
Yeah, I believe so. It's been a bit of a mad rush.
Yeah,
I mean, will you actually be able to sort of execute any of Tim's ideas? He will suggest something that you can't actually do, but you'll find a way around it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, we have a team of people who can find solutions to things we don't know about.
Are you an expert then?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've become an expert the more of these things we do. Yeah, we've done a lot.
How about the ultraviolet stuff that you've been shooting?
Well, that's the first time I worked with that, but it doesn't seem to be a problem. It's mainly a cameraman's problem now. We just have to paint things fluorescent. We hear it works. So
colours that you come across colours you can't use, that sort of thing.
Only certain fluorescent colours work with ultraviolet. It's a pure technical thing, yeah. But
anything else? I mean, do you try and inject art into it?
Sure. I mean, the way it works on a film like this with Tim and I is that we just bounce ideas off each other, and every idea that we put in we use virtually, once it starts flowing. So this is the first day of what is going to turn into 2 more weeks of post-production, which is all of our department, really. Lots of animation, lots of rostering.
Yeah, the animation, is that going to be your field particularly?
Yeah, this is something we've done a lot with. I mean, this is kind of things like Strawberry Switchblade and that kind of things we've been animating. We've been doing that kind of post-production animation, which no one else is doing, really, for about 2 years now.
Can you see it all in your mind now?
Yeah, just about, yeah.
Earlier in the day, the crew had been filming in this room. The room is painted black, and there are lots of fluorescent thingies hanging around all over the place, and lots of props like drumsticks painted in fluorescent colours. The whole scene was lit by ultraviolet light. It gave this unusual effect.
Come back, don't walk away. Come back today. Come back, what can't you see? Come back to me.
Tim, how's this shot going to look when it's done?
It's,
more psychotic stuff?
Well, yeah.
What are you going to do? You're just going to swing the guitar?
Swing the guitar and look arty. That's what I'm going to do.
This is the token art moment.
Yeah, no. This is the big. It's all been token art, my son. It's all token art, but then I'm a token kind of a guy. Do you know what I mean?
You're not involved in any of the band in this shot?
No, not actually in this shot. No, I've tucked them all up in bed for a few minutes to let them recover.
They need a break, don't they?
Oh yes.
Do you get a break at all?
No, of course I don't. No. Okay. The crew are worse. This man here, see this man here? Yeah. The man there, he's been working since 7 o'clock this morning. And look at him.
It shows.
Look at him. Yeah, exactly. That man didn't have a beard this morning. Look at him. Burnt out eyes. Look at this classic example. Burnt out eyes. The classic. Notice that. Look at that.
Is that what music videos does to you?
I'm 23 years of age.
Look at that. What
are you laughing for? They were laughing.
Go on, just walk away. Go on, your choice is made. Go on.
Paul, how do you put up with all this sort of shebang? You're very tolerant?
Every day.
It's fine. Are they good subjects, actually?
Yes, they're very good. He's lovely. He's got a lovely profile, good skin. So he's like a makeup artist's delight to work on.
How do you feel about that?
I'm going to
Blush.
Put some more blusher on.
He doesn't need it.
Must be irritating, sort of having touched up all day. You're trying to get on with things.
No, it's not. Get used to it. It's fine.
You'll learn to trust this lady, but she poke your eye out.
That's right.
How heavy do you have to make the band up for this sort of thing?
Not really, because it's pretty natural stuff, and they already have a set look, the way they want to look. So basically, it's really how they want to project themselves, because they do have a look of their own.
With this video, we're trying to get back to the idea of just like a group actually performing a song, rather than a group as a band of Mexicans, or a group as the first people to conquer Everest, or all the other things that people try and pretend to be.
Keep the nonsense out of the way.
Well, it's just a different kind of nonsense, really. I just wanted something that was really simple with this video. But like in the past couple of videos we've done, they've been very like an aeroplane. They go over people's heads.
Okay, this is 5 take 1, The Cure for Music Box.
Always wanted to do that, Joe. You're the what to this project?
I'm a focus puller.
The focus puller?
Yeah.
Which means what?
I basically look after all the camera equipment,
Yeah.
keep the cameras running, the batteries charged, and keep the camera in focus while it's filming.
You got how many cameras running? How things going?
Not too bad at all.
Yeah?
What is it, 8:30 and we've still... Yeah, not too bad.
What time do you start this morning?
I got here at about 7:15.
A long day.
It is a long day.
How many more hours?
About another 3 hours.
3 hours? Mark, you probably got the most laborious job of everyone here. I mean, at least everyone else gets to move around, do interesting things. You're stuck here all day.
Yeah, it gets a bit boring. It helps when you...
I was wrong.
You was wrong.
Yeah, no, you was wrong.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Look at your Peggy sheet lyrics, you know?
Never mind that.
Yeah, you get hassled a lot. Same one?
Not easy.
No, it's not. Yeah, because they always tell you one thing and then they want another.
You've got to be the most patient of everyone, I suppose.
Yeah, it tells when you like the song.
You like this song?
Yeah, it's good actually. Yeah, it's not a bad one, yeah.
You've actually got the whole lyrics of a song written down there with like points on here where...
It's about 45 seconds along in the song, yeah? It's like
beforehand, yeah, and I know I was wrong. Yeah.
Okay.
You've also got to be able to have a conversation with at least 3 people at the same time by the looks of things.
Right, so let's...
Yeah, it helps. It's... Yeah, what you do is you mark up the tape.
Yeah.
Just with A's, B's and C's, and they feed you what you want. And because sometimes I take it from the top. Well, they just take bits of it.
Bits and
you just give them what they want. Yeah. Which most of the time they is always wrong anyway.
It was getting towards the end of the day now, and I was very impressed by the way everything had gone. But I thought I'd ask the powers that be, see how they felt it went.
Well, how's it going?
No, it seems alright.
Seriously,
What do you think?
Seriously, did he not do it in there? They told me that they were all set up.
It's still happening, obviously. I better let you get on with this.
Yes.
Yeah. Go make more decisions. I'll let this you shout. He'll shout the decisions. It's a camera.
Hold on, if we make it swing.
We are not suspending our camera from any kind of wires. Getting a project like this one together in, 3 days? Must have been quite a nightmare.
It was, definitely. Because usually we have a little bit more time, but on this one, even though we knew we were going to do the shoot and it was all confirmed, the ideas weren't sort of finalised until sort of quite late Friday night. And until the ideas are finalised, there's not much that one can do apart from book the studio and book the crew.
Did you sort of end up phoning people up in the middle of the night saying, listen, can you paint all this stuff this colour?
There were a lot of phoning up at the weekend, yes. Yeah.
You're the production manager,
Yes.
so ultimately you're answerable to absolutely everyone if it doesn't happen.
Basically, if something goes wrong or if anything happens at all, it lands up in my lap and has to be sorted out. From anything to sort of, being no food on the set to the director sort of running 5 or 6 hours into overtime, whatever.
Do you find you taking the same people around with you all the time? Do you tend to work with the same people because you can rely on them to get the job done?
We do, yes. I mean, at the moment we've got a crew that we work with a lot because they're I mean, they're fantastic. I mean, they're very, very good. They work long hours and they work very hard. And they work with smiles on their faces, which is important.
How do you think it's gone today?
Very, very well. I mean, much better than I expected, especially with all the equipment we've got. You know, I expected a lot of problems, and so far, I mean, we're not finished yet. So far, so good.
Absolutely, there's an awful lot more to be done after the shooting's finished, isn't there?
Yes, I mean, on this particular shoot, the amount of post-production, we've got 2 weeks, which, you know, seems like a very long time, but in fact, they're going to be working flat out 18 hours every day.
What will be involved in the post-production?
A lot of animation, aerial image, which probably sounds very sort of technical, and a lot of hand painting, hand colouring.
And then, of course, the editing, which can make or break the whole thing.
That's right.
Will you be in on the editing?
Yes, I will, yeah. I mean, I basically sort of follow every stage of the production. I let someone else handle the post-production, but at the end, I will have to be there in case the record company don't like it, which won't happen.
Do you lose sleep over this whole affair?
Nowadays, I don't so much, because I have the sort of the attitude, you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I must admit, on this one last night, I was slightly worried. But not anymore.
And to sum up?
To sum up, I mean, I'm really, really happy the way things have gone. To be honest, we're hitting, what, sort of 9:45, and I don't know if you know about sort of ghosters, but if you go past the magic hour of midnight, you're into a lot of money. So between now and the next hour and a half, I'll probably be walking around with not a grin on my face, but I know the director's going to finish before midnight.
Would you choose one word to sum the whole thing up in?
Yeah, one word, I'd say very professional and very interesting.
That's more than one word.
2 words. Great.
Tim, you've just about finished the end of the shoot. Beer is your only aid at the moment. How's it gone?
That's the only aid, it's not sort of syphilis. Yeah, what was that? No, it's all been going very well. No, it's been quite wild, I think. It's quite a wild shoot. You see the bags, I've got 2 bruised eyes, you see. Earlier on I had 1. That's because I've been wife beaten.
Have you got everything you set out to get?
Yeah, well, we haven't quite got it all yet, because I've got some other bits to do with Robert. That's the thing, you're always up against time, you see. It's always the problem, you see. So I think I have. Well, I haven't got them all yet, but I hope.
Do you ever sort of see anything during the shoot where you think, oh, I've got to get all stuff you think afterwards, oh, I didn't get it, I should have done that?
Well, no, because I usually know, I'm sort of quite instinctive. I always know when I've got the right amount of shots for what I need, so it doesn't usually happen. I'll tell you, because I actually store everything in my head, you see. I do it sort of shot by shot, and it's all stored up there and filed away. I mean, if it sort of looked untogether to you, it's actually all there. And the thing is, I've never once got, because I always put my Walkman on as I'm driving home, and I always listen at that point and play all the shots together, you see. And never yet at any point have I actually forgotten a shot. This could be the first time, you see.
You've got to edit the thing now. Any ideas on how you're going to put it together?
Oh yeah, well that's the way this whole thing's conceived. If I had no ideas about how this was going to be edited, it could be a real mess, and the editing is going to be really important. It's going to take us 2 weeks to edit this, what with various stages, because I've got to cut the black and white part of the film, I've got to cut the colour part of the film, stick them together, refilm them, stick other bits underneath them, stick bits on top of it, refilm that sort of thing. So I've really got to know what I'm doing about that sort of thing.
Wish you the best of luck with that.
Thanks, that was very caring of you.
A word. What word would you use to describe today's activity?
What word would you use first? You show me yours.
Confusing.
Confusing. I'd say meaningful.
After all the special effects were put on, the animation were put in, it was assembled and edited, we finally got a copy of GLO 163, The Cure, In Between Days.